John. Mickey is looking at it.
Oh no, we're going to have wars here, aren't we?
10 past 4, to be precise. We're getting
Here
very specific here. But we're worried about Lauren Kiefer. I've got to keep Rose happy because the horse that we're talking about is a 12-year-old bay gelding is about to come into the do his dressage test. The horse is Vermiculus, and of course Lauren is a vastly experienced 32-year-old American rider. This horse is by Sarah
breathe.
Breathe.
Breathe. Again.
Z-A-Z-E-R-A-M. Zazaram. I'm trying, and the mare is unknown, and is owned by Jacqueline Mars, a huge supporter of American equestrian sport. And Lauren Kiefer has come down and has halted.
She started off very straight coming down the centre line, but just lost the left shoulder and the quarters to the right as she halted. And once again, I think the horse was moving into the rain, which is a shame. But also, we spoke earlier about when a horse does a dropping. The horse did a drop in the hole and still trotted off, which is very good. John had a big thing earlier about the fact that if you're at home, you must make the horse still move, because it can be very costly in a test situation if they suddenly halt whilst they have droppings.
So far in this trot work, we're seeing a lot of energy into a very good balance. The horse is in a good uphill frame. Personally, I'd like to see a bit more suppleness and positioning around the inside leg, that uniform bend in the shoulder in that would lead into the half pass for a really high mark. But what's really good is the horse is keeping that tempo and energy from the hind leg into the contact, losing a touch of suppleness there over the back at the end of the second half pass.
And when we talk about these higher marks, yes, they're getting 7.5s, but we're talking about getting them 9s and 10s, aren't we? We've seen that the judges are more than happy to give the 10, so we're just wanting them to have that extra bit of suppleness, to have them on a secure 9 or a secure 10.
I'm not sure we've had a 10 for anything on the move.
We did yesterday. We did yesterday.
On the move?
We definitely had a 10. She did something for a 10.
Well, that's good. It's nice to know that they're not just marking.
You know, she had a 10 coming down the centre line. That would have included going forward.
Was it before the halt?
Yes.
Oh, that's all right. I've obviously slept.
Just making this up, but we'll go for it.
Really nice quality horse, good energy and work ethic.
Yeah, good scores on the Rayback. I mean, they're varied slightly from a 6 to an 8, but you've got an 8 from the C judge. And I always think when you're looking at the Holt and the Rayback, they're the judge that can really see the most, can't they?
Yeah. Including the contact, because the horse can look to be standing very still and very connected, but if they're just fussing with the mouth a little bit, sometimes you can't see that from a distance. But at sea, with it right under the C judge's nose, they pick up on the minor details like that.
Very nice relaxation in the extended walk. I think just a bit more activity behind and a bit more of a marching.
He had the same power from the hind leg in the walk that he had in the trot.
Yeah.
That would have been a really good mark.
This was her World Equestrian Games horse. They scored at Tryon last year, 32.6, but they were eliminated in the cross country. And this year, just checking some other scores for Vermiculus.
Very smart flying change. I thought she set that up really well, and it was a good jump off the ground.
It came after a very good medium canter to very good collected canter, and the whole sequence was very fluent.
And you can really see that the horse finds the canter easier. That was a very smart half pass. It was good bend around her inside leg. Yeah, she's on 2 7.5s and an 8, and you could see that the way she set the half pass up, she had the confidence. There was no problem there. It was just quite easy just to go and ride a half pass across the diagonal.
Slightly less collection before the change from right to left, but it was still a correct change that will get a good mark.
Yeah, 8 7.5. And I think she felt maybe a bit braver to have a bit more ground cover going into the second flying change.
This was old scoring, but 43.8 in Kentucky back in 2017, and was withdrawn before the show jumping then that year.
Very good transition back up into a contact with the shorter rein. She's really getting some super marks here. I mean, 8s across the board for the half 20-metre circle stretch.
It's a shame there that after the stretch in the canter, when she picked up the rein, she didn't establish the same balance that she had in the canter before, and therefore the change was late on her aid and not quite as balanced, although it was a clean change, because this horse's changes have been very good apart from that.
And she just showed that bit of tightness there on the centre line. He jumped together just before the trot transition, but she has got some really super scores out there today.
Well, the rain stopped, but the wind still blows. So thankfully that will be a relief to my three brave spectators sitting near our commentary position at the...
Oh, the umbrella's gone in.
The umbrella's gone down, but that's the first movement they've shown for about 20 minutes, but I am very impressed by their determination to enjoy every dressage test here at this year's Land Rover Burghley horse trials. But they've seen Lauren Kiefer on a horse, as I say. They didn't have the best of Wegs last year when eliminated after the cross country, but and 9 on that halt and salute. So we're now going to get ready for the final group of riders, and there's some serious names coming forward as we wait on the score. We're going to have a little bit of a break here, and we'll be back in action at 3 as we await on the score. Good test from Zara Tyndall with her young horse, Janelle Price, also going into third with 28.1.
Fantastic, she's gone into the lead.
Just a wonderful test from Lauren Kiefer has put her into the lead with 26.7, 0.2 ahead of Hannah Subernet and Piggy French.
Oh, that's brilliant. And look how much the USA team is celebrating. That's fantastic.
Well, the weather was unkind to the previous American contestant, Savannah Fulton, but Lauren Kiefer has absolutely nailed it there with 26.7. Wonderful display from her. No wonder those people were refusing to move in front of us. They were determined to enjoy that, and the American support group have definitely enjoyed that going into the lead. So will that score be bettered with what's to come with Ringwood Skyboy and Tim Price, Ballymore Class, Oliver Townend? Is that lead vulnerable before the final session?
I think that lead is...
Woods Fulton, but she was here 2 years ago. And here is her compatriot, Lauren Kiefer, riding Vermiculus, 4th after the dressage, and if she can get it all together today, she's a player, but it's an if.
It is an if. She's had a few mishaps over the years, but this is a very capable horse. It's a fabulous little horse, and she's a very experienced rider. Now's her chance to put the foot down and make it happen.
Another horse owned by Jacqueline Mars. And away they go. So 2 key American players on the course at present. And here's Claire with a veteran, insightful there from Dan Jocelyn. As we have a look at Lauren Kiefer coming to Discovery Valley. Watch her jump this. 4th after the dressage, Lauren Kiefer. And away she goes.
The horse is brilliant there. She popped the log quietly and then just pressed the accelerator, and he just opened up quite beautifully over that brush fence.
Now, this tricky brush arrowhead coming sharply off a corner.
I have to say I'm quite surprised at how much trouble this fence has caused. I thought horses would lock onto it much better, but they have looked at the ditch a lot. This is a cracking jumping horse, and she's a very, as I said, she's a very experienced rider.
Notice the ones that have tackled it best have ridden quite deep, almost deep to the crowd, and then have made quite a pointed 90-degree angle.
They've got to get them straight and give the horse as much chance as possible to see what it is before they just accelerate around the corner and wing at it.
Just picking up on, that was lovely, just picking up on Dan Jocelyn's interview with Claire there. Thinking about the amount of these safety devices that have gone today, the fences that have been knocked and damaged, and the pins, the frangible pins have gone.
The frangible devices, it may encourage you to put a trickier question, like this oxer we're seeing Lauren jumping at the top of a hill like that. Without the frangible device, you really wouldn't put an oxer at the top of a hill, but and some of the maltings rails are very wide. Maybe that encourages you to be a little bit braver as a designer. But there's nothing wrong with the questions, but perhaps the frangible devices allow you to make these decisions.
So they may have subtly shifted some of these cross-country courses without us really realising.
I think that's very possible. You know, as a designer as well, I would be reluctant to think that I'd been conned into that, but I think it is very possible. And you know, but you have to be sure the question you're giving is correct, whether the frangible device is there or not.
Because it shifts your own perspective of what's an acceptable challenge and what's not an acceptable challenge, I guess.
Yeah. And we all know what kind of question the horses find difficult. So if there's a chance of making that more difficult, we have to be very careful therefore as designers that we don't allow that to happen. I'm not saying that's what happened here, but it's something we can be thinking about.
Now, big test here, Jules at the Maltings for Lauren Kiefer.
So great jumps there, but he landed quite steep over that second one, and Lauren just pitched up his neck a little bit. I'm going to be a little bit bold here and suggest that Lauren's stirrups are too long, and if she was riding with shorter stirrups, her upper body would be more secure. That's very
Treated badminton this year. Here's Lauren Kiefer and Vermiculus. I was just thinking about your point about her stirrups, and it's quite noticeable even to a layman that she's riding with a longer length of a stirrup than most riders here. I was wondering, you look at a bowler in cricket with an unusual action or a biomechanically suspect action, and they say they take them to the trainers and they try and correct it, and then their game goes to pieces. If this is the way you've now become accustomed to riding, would it be too big a change?
Just don't let the wind.
Now, how's Lauren Kiefer going? Because time's crucial here. She was fourth after the dressage over the Cottesmore Leap. Obviously, there'll have to be a significant bit of recalculation. Yeah, that's nice.
You can hear the horse brushing through the brush fence, but very good, confident jumping.
Lauren finished 12th here 2 years ago, her first visit to Burghley on Veronica. She's got a lot of experience at the top level now.
He's a tiny little horse. He's got big stature, but he's not a big horse at all. But he has got phenomenal scope and great attitude.
Hence his stable name, Bug, I guess.
Yeah, you could see Lauren looking left there, and she realised the kind of jump she got. She wasn't going to get there turning left, so quick change of position.
The 21st equal coming into this phase, and Lauren Kiefer down to the concluding stages of this competition, over the Collie Western Slate Mine, and now down into the lake for the final time. Could do with a guide to the time here on Vermiculus.
Yeah, look at his ears. It's still pricked, still enjoying it. And having a look at the clock there, only 1 second. Oh no, she's already over the time.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was thinking that was a split time. It's she's already over the time. I was thinking through the water. He hasn't gone that quickly, but he's certainly jumped for fun around this track.
And albeit that time penalties are now racking up, and racking up at a reasonable rate, a clear is still very important in the context of the way things have gone today. We've not got many left to compete, and at the moment, Piggy French on 26.9 has a clear break, but it's a massive break.
And was attainable, so let's see how he copes with this horse. He's had the benefit of experience of having been round the course, but a different horse can give you a totally different perspective.
Now, Lauren Kiefer's over a minute over the time, and that is going to cost her. She goes into 7th place, so it is highly feasible that she'll be in a top
Of
10.
America,
At the end
Lauren
there,
Kiefer.
and now Lauren Kiefer is coming forward now with Vermiculus, a horse owned by Mrs. Jacqueline Mars, and Vermiculus again. Lauren Kiefer, not bad yesterday.
In actual fact, started dressage really well, 26.7. She was fourth after the dressage. No jumping penalties, 26.4 time penalties. That's quite good relative to most of the rounds yesterday. But she's dropped from fourth down to 11th because of those time penalties. She's on 53.1.
5-star would be a little bit softer than this.
So Ariel's compatriot now, and the more experienced Lauren Kiefer for the United States, lying in 11th place overnight on a penalty score of 53.1, and she's riding Vermiculus, owned by Jackie Mars.
53.1 in 11th place.
Well, I don't want to give this the commentator's curse, but this is a cracking jumper. The diminutive Vermiculus. Like a cat, the way he springs in there. Oh, come on, Mum, let me go. Let me get going.
Lauren was 12th at Burghley 2 years ago.
Ah,
Intact.
He's got so much scope and is so enthusiastic about life in every which way. You can see earlier when he was pulling at the bridle saying, I want to go faster, back on the cross-country course, but I think that was a little tap on the shoulder just to say, hey, keep concentrating and listening to me. I think he's quite capable of showing off to the crowds, this horse. A little casual. Oh, beautifully through the combination.
Well, Ian Stark called it, and he was spot on. Foot perfect brilliance inside the time, 53.1. Nothing to add to the overnight score of Lauren Kiefer and Vermiculus, so guaranteed 11th place or worst.
He was starting a bit casual over that Oxer, but this is the kind of horse that everyone wants to be on the final day of a 3-day event. Just loves it, the little boy.